Now, moving on to our individual centering circuit exploration.
So, individual centering, it should be part of the individual circuit, and it's totally not.
It
And
is. It's like part of it because it's like the individual is split into the knowing and the centering.
right. That's right. It should be part of the sort of, it should be part of the knowing circuit, but it totally is not. It totally is not. And we're going to get into like why that is. This is a little bit the bridge between the integration, which is completely selfish. Yeah. And then the knowing.
Yes,
and
that
it takes
feels
a warrior and a shock and deep contemplation inwardly to make that happen. So,
all right, perfect. So diving into the centering circuit. So the keynote is part of the individual circuitry. So it's empowerment. So with the integration, we were self-empowerment. It's like self-survival. And now as we're moving into individual and centering, then it's empowerment more broadly. So the centering circuit is focused on empowering people to love themselves and follow their own unique path in life. And it's about doing what is correct for them. It's inspiring and empowering others to follow their own unique path. So we're going to go over two circuits or two channels more in depth coming up, but the little teasers, the 3410 transforms the way one lives in the world, and the 5125 transforms the way one takes advantage of the world we live in.
Well, that's a beautiful way to put that. And I concur. I totally agree with that.
I took it from the Human Design Definitive Human Design book.
Ross said that?
Oh, yeah. I take everything from Ra and I just rearrange
that
it.
way. There's no mistake. I totally get it. Me too. Yeah. And build from there. But so yeah, I have the centering circuit. And as it relates to the 5125, I have want of the 2155 channel.
2551.
Yeah, because I only have 25, so I have want of the channel there, but I have the whole 1034. This channel of centering is designed to follow one's own convictions. That's what it does. It's designed to literally, and it self-explores. And again, this integration stuff, now moving into the centering stuff, is self-centered. And it almost appears like it's distant in a way because these people are busy inside their own little self-exploration. And as soon as there's a thing to know, as soon as 34 touches gate 10 and they connect, gate 10 can only look inward, even if it's connected to all the other gates. Now, if 34 isn't present and gate 10 is connected to 57, 10, 20, or either of those two gates, or it's just hanging, not connected, it's looking out at the behavior of others. That's its deal. But as soon as it's connected to 34, which is less often, right? That thing is now looking inward at its own behavior. So this is a channel where a lot of times people get hung up a little bit. What am I doing here? What do I look like? Especially in a right angle being, for instance. What am I looking like? What do I think of myself? What did I do? So because they're looking in so much that sometimes they haven't looked out. So they find themselves in a situation. It's like, what am I to this situation? I can't tell. I know what I am to me. Now I need to know what am I to this situation, which helps us move along to the next channel, to find out literally this transforms the way one takes advantage of the world we live in. So, hi, I've looked into who am I in this, and then the warrior comes out and says, now we're going to look at who we all are and what is this within the life I'm living. And now the meaning starts to come. And this is great meaning making in this circuitry. Great meaning making and a way to interface and bring the centering circuit online into a nine-centered life.
Bravo. That's great.
Yay.
All right. So diving into the 3410, this is the channel of exploration, and it's a design of following one's conviction. So the 34 is power, and it's the gate of the power of the great. And it's that sacral gate that we've been looking at, and that's in the red square down below. And then gate 10, which is treading, and this is the gate of the behavior of self. It's an identity gate. That's the yellow diamond in the middle. And so the 3410, it's initiating behaviors as roles from deep inside, leading us to accept, honor, and love ourselves. And it's sustaining power and inner strength, and about standing by your convictions and forming our belief and acceptance of ourselves.
Think about integration. The 34 doesn't touch the 10. It's only when you get to centering that it finishes out that each gate touches each gate. Because in integration, it looks like each gate touches each gate, except 57, 34 when you get to the 34 and the 10, they don't, the
They're a little
3410 is,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
3410 is not a channel inside of integration. So even though when you put it all together, 34's energy will get to 10,
Yeah.
this is the first time through this that the power of our cells isn't simply servicing the now and survival. The now and survival technically are kind of boring places. You're always hunting the deer, Charlie. You know what I mean? You're Mr. Boring or whatever. You know, of course, they're psyched when they eat dinner every night, but it's still, where's the rest of the flavor? You know, you can't just have that. If we just had that, we would be born. Might as well just be dogs again. The Kama Sutra would have never been written. The power of 34 in 10 helped that happen, is the point that I guess I'm trying to make. And so, power right now to follow your own convictions, and to follow your own convictions, you're going to need power right now, because the world is going to try and stop you to follow your own convictions plenty of times, and the conditioning and other people's behavior and the demands and the stuff that regular integration has no problem surviving through. But regular integration doesn't touch 34 to 10 directly. So now we get into a more smooth process in a way of literally following your own convictions and looking deep inside. And yes, it's a little self-centered. Absolutely, it's not always listening to the other. It doesn't want to. In fact, it doesn't want to do anything. I'm busy doing. I'm busy doing my own little trip. But that's where it needs to be, because in that exploration, it's got lots of evidence that's willing to pop out all the time. It's ready. We want that. We want that internal evidence. The inner verse gets discovered very much through this channel.
That's interesting too, because it's that like identity, that behavior of self, correct behavior in response, like in response, and like a huge amount of power to love yourself and have your correct behavior in response. I don't know. There's something there is touching on me,
It's
and
it's it's gonna come out. I don't even know what necessarily to add on to that, but it's so big. What you're pointing at is the thing. It's just huge. It's like, because with all that power, that in power equals infinity inside of human 34, inside of humanity. So infinity amount of things and stuff, behaviors and ways and little nuances are being self-explored. With all, you've got all the power in the world to sit there and self-explore and not get bored with it, is the thing. It's always something you're doing. You're always looking in, and you love imagining what yourself is to yourself right now. And then again, and then all this power comes out through the imagination of what you might be. And sooner or later, as a responsive nature, you're now going to go do that thing and become the manifester that all generators are as soon as the response has taken place. Not literally a manifester, but I'm saying have those manifestor qualities. As soon as the response takes place, every generator acts out a manifestor nature for a little bit while that response has its meaning.
yeah, just I'm gonna like unpack that a little bit and clarify that.
Please.
So yeah, yeah, because I was like, you said something really good, but I can totally see people getting lost with that.
Yeah.
So that when a generator in this example is waiting first to respond, and then that sacral is like responds, and it's like, hell yeah, I'm super into this, then it's ready to act onto the world and manifest in a way. So I feel like that's what you're trying to say. So it's like
Yeah.
just like a projector when we're invited
Hmm.
to do something, we can create amazing things. We
Absolutely.
just every all types have their own little timing. Every type has to
Right.
wait for what's right for them, and then when we wait for whatever that is according to our type, and we get that correct thing and our bodies into it, then we can create, we can manifest in that way.
Exactly. And whereas the manifestor has to just live that out as their way of life, the sacral only ever gives it to us in spurts and times and moments, over and over again, of course, but whereby in this case with the 10, that's our behavior in motion. That's our behavior in motion. This 3410 puts our behavior truly in motion, more so than 3420, more as much so as 5710. And 1020 is just the expression of that. 1020 is the expression of the 34 and the 10 in centering and the 57 and the 10 in integration. These two marry up here.
Mm, cool.
So,
All right. You feel good? I feel good.
yep,
All right, moving on, grand finale, the final channel, because the centering circuit has just these like two little channels, but it's a big
that's
one.
it. Mhm.
So the channel 5125, it's the channel of initiation, and it is the design of needing to be first. And gate 51 is arousing. It's the gate of shock, and it's a will center gate, which is that little red triangle to the right on the body graph. And then gate 25, which is innocence. It's the gate of the spirit of self. It's another identity gate, which is the yellow diamond. And gate 5125 is competitive, need to be first energy, and it's connected to universal love and the ability of the higher self to see and love the beauty in the animate and the inanimate equally.
Very much so. It's non-discriminating because God's beauty shines down on this earth, as like the story would go, let's say. And it said, let there be light. It wasn't let there be light on just, humanity. It was let there be light on all. And that light, yeah, on everything, including the dirt and the worms, all of it, right? And the oceans and the water and every speck and every molecule, let there be light. And so this ends up bringing that. And it's worth noting that 57 technically, as the embryo is becoming alive in that moment of conception, in order to really just sort of start making it happen, 57 has to shock it into existence. There's a gate 57 sitting there to shock the actual new life form into its now growth stage of separating and separating, cell division, cell division. So it performs an amazing function inside of us. That's why it's the it initiates stuff. That's why this is a channel of initiation, because from nowhere comes the will to leap into the thing and initiate a new process. Seems very manifestory. If you're a generator, you better wait till you can respond. If you're a projector, you right, speak if you're a projector, you better wait till the recognition is there and the feeling is good enough that others are seeing something or you see it and you like it and want to share that, empower others with it. But the leaping is there to basically help the tribe get a little bit less sticky about its ways. We don't want the tribe encalcitrated and calcitrant and entrenched in their one way of tribalness. The individual always has to come and stir that genetic pot ever so slightly or a lot in order that the tribe stay truly vibrant in a changing world, because everything's changing at all times. So the leap, the warrior jumping into the innocence. Look at the 51, like the wild warrior that's like leaps into the hordes of enemy, even though knowing it's going to die. And the 55, the 25 says, hey, sometimes you didn't die. Look, I caught you. I caught you. And it's innocence. It's an uncontrived innocence. What? What's that? Who did what? I guess they did. Hey, you don't like my pet rock? Well, now I don't like you. It's just a rock, Dan. Well, I still don't like you. I like my pet rock. Leave my pet rock. It's the animate, our love of animate. Well, it's your pet rock or me. It's a pet rock, right? But
Yeah,
you said you loved me. Well, not that much, apparently. Well, I mean, the animate is worth being loved. Inanimate, I mean. It's worth
inanimate,
being
yeah.
loved. What is inanimate? What do we know? Our spiritual essence thrives in this melting box. 51 and 25 take that spiritual, that this whole circuitry that goes up, that is this mystical circuitry that goes from 19 all the way up to 20. We won't get into it, but I just want to point out there is a mystical circuit separate from the ones we're talking about. It's there, and it is tribal, and it's sensed, it's rooted in our emotional wave of feeling and coming to this clarity of how do we commune in love. And there's 57 51 25 right in the center of this circuitry as the go-between, as the shock monster that leaves the tribe and moves to the individual for its final awakening. This shocks the final awakening open. So I
Yeah.
think it's amazing.
Oh, I love it. I this is my only channel, so I have like obviously a little special extra love
Yeah,
for it.
say some stuff.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is my one. This is the big one. And it's very interesting because I definitely feel very much shocked out of the tribe. It's like you're part of the tribe, but like I'm always like shocked out of it to like go my own way and do my own thing. And I go down that path and sometimes I find really great things and I'm like, hey guys, look what I found. And if the tribe like deems it of value, then they'll like incorporate it in. And if they don't, then it's just like, oh, you're just being a little weirdo. And it's like, yeah, I guess. And I've
Hmm.
also noticed the sense of like, because it's forging a path ahead. It's like this will to forge a new direction. And I just like have this like imagery of like going with like a machete against the jungle, and like I can do it. Either like get beside me or get out of my way, because I'm gonna like hack this up and like forge a new direction.
Right.
So there's this energy of going ahead and forging a new path. And I've also noticed a bit of, oh, I went down ahead on this path and it goes somewhere, like there's a bear down there, we should not go that way.
Right.
And then kind of running back, trying to warn the tribe. And again, if the tribe deems it a worthy thing, then they'll incorporate it. And if not, even if I'm correct,
Right.
they can maybe like, well, we're not into it, you're acting too weird. And then like later on, it's like, well, I told you there was a bear down that way.
It was a conspiracy theory. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, the 5125 is very interesting, because the 51 is that like pure shock. The hexagram is thunder over and under. It's thunder over thunder. It's pure shock. It's pure surprise. There's always going to be something crazy coming, and I've just kind of grown used to it in a way.
You have, and I'm willing to bet, like, I can describe my 2430. I see it all the time, but I'm willing to bet living with a 5125 makes it so you miss it half the time. Because you are it. Like the fish in the water. It's like, I'm in water, really?
Yeah, I don't realize I'm shocking to people, and then I'm like, look at what I'm wearing, or like remember something I said, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess that was pretty shocking. But yeah, I don't necessarily realize it, because it's like I am the shock, but I'm also the innocence.
Absolutely. They go together. It's the
Yeah.
priest and the warrior as an archetype is the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
And
And go ahead.
no, you were on a thing.
Well, the warrior obviously is the 51, and then the priest is the 25, and they catch each other. Neither one survives alone, and they must survive together is the thing.
Mm,
And it's meant to bring a type of unity, and it hones in and basically coordinates and organizes our capacity to allow shocking things to become a little bit more mundane and
yeah,
become accepted and become like, oh, that's okay. Yeah, it seemed shocking, last week I was like, what the hell? And now it's like, no, I get it. And so this will
because
bring that in, it being part of the vessel of love and part of the cross of penetration. So between those two crosses, love and penetration go together. Let me penetrate you with my love, please.
I love
Yeah,
that.
right. Isn't that what we do all the time
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely.
or want to?
I like what you said, with the relationship with like the warrior and like the priestess kind of vibe, and it's like how they really need one another, and that just kind of got my brain going. It's like, oh, that makes sense, because in order to be able to have like a priest or a priestess or something, can like a person who's connected with the spiritual, it's like they need to be protected by the warrior. Like
Period.
you can just be praying out somewhere dangerous, and like it might not work out so well. You need that warrior's protection, and also the warrior needs that priestess to have it be for like a noble cause and something worthwhile, to not just be like a wanton
And to
murderer or
touch the
something
spirit of the
crazy.
self so deeply that when the priest ordains the warrioring,
That's
that
a
the
worthy
warrior
fight.
stumbles forward with absolute empowerment,
Mm,
like absolutely empowered, like because he was ordained. God said it was okay. God said we need to type thing. You know what I mean? It's
mhm.
spiritual like that. It's very deep when this comes together. This is a great place of plant medicine. This is a great place of driving fast sometimes, but maybe not. It depends who you are. Um,
Uh-huh.
right? This is a great place of experimenting with things to try what might or might not work because you can't help it anyways. This is a
Yeah.
great place of fire, right? And this is a great place of blood. If you've got this channel, you've seen your share of your own blood. Most likely.
Yeah.
I see if you've got any gates in this channel, you've seen your share of your own blood.
Yeah. It's craziness. It's jumping into the unknown.
Why? Why do we leap into the unknown? That's stupid. That's
I
not very
feel it's
safe.
it's it's like that Terrence McKenna quote. It's like jumping out into the unknown to realize that you're going to be caught by a feather bed. And
Right.
like the 25 would be the feather bed, the 51 is jumping off into the unknown, and then the 25 is
Right.
that like feather bed that's there to catch you on your way down. I'm like, well, that was a good adventure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not sure what else to say about
I
this
have a
channel.
couple.
Yeah, please
I
go
got a
on.
couple of things. I was like, this is my one channel. This is my moment. Yeah, the first thing that I was going to mention is my other ego projector friends, our little group of us. One of them has mentioned how they like. Do you remember the Care Bears? Like,
Yep.
yeah, the Care Bears. They're all colorful, and then they had like a different like little design on their chest, and then they'd be like, the power of love, and they like put their little tummies out, and like love rainbows would shoot out of them. When our will is lit up and our identity is into it and that connection is there, and like I'm forging that new path, it's like it is this power coming out of our chest to like energetically like clear this path. And I've even had to learn to be careful of like when I'm like passionate about something, like I've learned to like aim my chest away from like my boyfriend, because like I will feel him like that is just so intense. It's almost, you know, it's like looking into like the sun. And I was like, oh, sorry. And I'll like turn another way and like keep talking to him to not put him in that powerhouse Care Bear stare of love. So
Wow.
yeah.
I find that interesting.
Yeah.
What was the second thing? Do you
The
remember?
second thing with the 5125, because it's this like design of needing to be first, and it's like this competitiveness, but it's like a lot of times like there's the stuff we're competitive about in a way, but it's more like we're just overcome with I have to go do this thing. It's not even like I necessarily like want to be competitive with another person. There's just like I'm gonna go do this thing. But it's very interesting being so perceived as competitive even when I'm not, because again, majority of people at 65% have an undefined will, so they're amplifying our defined will. So Ra had this channel, and he would say like he learned not to like argue or fight with anybody, because with the 5125 like they will then use our energy against us if we like feed them into it. So it's
Fight
like
back twice as hard type
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So he said, like, when people would start coming up to him to complain about something, he's like, that's interesting. That's nice. Because if you engage with them, it's like the other person's amplifying my energy. And I'm like, I don't even want to fight you. I was like, I don't even care. But
I
if
don't
we
even want
like,
to talk that hard about it. Might even be fight. It might just be let's talk harder, right?
and it just
Right.
continues. And so, and I've been in that situation. I've learned not to. And I actually like, tried this out. This happened a little bit ago where somebody was like starting a stupid fight with me. And I was like, I don't even care anything. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not. And he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're done? What do you mean? I was like, I'm not fighting with you about this. This is stupid. And I saw him like deflate like a balloon, because I was like, I'm not doing this with you. I refuse to give him that energy to use against me.
Right.
And he just like deflated and like walked away so awkwardly. And so, yeah, it's like you don't need to fight people, because people are going to take it even when you're not meaning to fight. So, something I'm really practicing is just like, cool, interesting, like not my circus, not my monkeys, walk away kind of thing.
Not my monkeys. There's enough monkey action going on in here because after the being was centered, just like the slide before said, it's got to pour it out into the world. The centering doesn't go out into the world. For 3410, so much it might land in the world accidentally, but but the 5125 does. So these two things, like one pulls one out into the world, the other pulls the other one in to gain more information about who am I?
Yes.
What is this internal thing I'm looking at? I'm saying that the 3410 is internal and the 2551 is definitely going to do something with the rest of the world, just like the previous slide said.
Okay, so the 3410 is like this internal situation, and then the 2551 is going to like externalize it in a way.
Totally. And
Okay,
then
that's
and then vice versa. This thing is a yin and a yang that keeps going together because after I've externalized and done all
oh,
this stuff, now I've got more stuff for self-reflection and contemplation. Internal exploration, self-exploration is a pretty powerful place to be.
all right, fascinating. That was cool to like link that up with the 3410 in a way, and for my brain to like wrap itself around. So, yeah.
It's got the perfect name, centering circuit. It's got a perfect place separated from the rest of the knowing circuit. That was correct to do that. Rob was absolutely right. Not that he needed me to tell him that, but it's a perfect segue into what will be the knowing circuitry next week, because all of this here is basically empowering and firing up the power of the knowing circuit, which we'll do, right? That's what's next.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Any final thoughts on the centering circuit?
I don't know, not that I can really think of at this moment. That was just we really just talked about it all. Other
Yeah.
than if this is in a partner of yours, he's not selfish. He's centered or trying to center. He's looking inward. And if this is in yourself, um, you're not just selfish. You'll come out when the time is right. Don't let other people tell you you are, or that you go inside too much, or give it a break. No, no. I'm not giving it a break, apparently. I'm right here where I'm at, and this is where we stay. So,
Oh, lovely. That was super nice.
mhm.
Well, that was a really fun episode, really fun exploring these two circuits with you, going over the integration and the centering circuit.
Tying it all together, Moni. We're tying it all together. We can make you this promise right now. If you take the time to squeak through our videos, and you can put aside the ones that you didn't feel like watching, but if you get to the ones where we're into the mechanics, you will learn human design. We will have taught you b- everything in a 101, 102, and part of a 103 course of human design.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
already have a
right.
bunch of good stuff.
Totally.
Yeah, if you check out, especially on our playlists on our YouTube, then it's like super organized. So you can dive into just the informative stuff you want to. And then, yeah, we have some really amazing stuff planned for this year. I've been nerding out super, super
It's
hardcore.
so good. You're gonna know HD is gonna be in the world. Get
Yeah,
yourself read, and get powerful. So
absolutely. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Danny, for this. Thank you to our audience.
perfect.
And thank you for everyone watching live, everyone watching on the replay. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting. I love it. It makes me really, really happy and it helps us a lot. We're still a wee witty bitty baby channel, but we're building it. So we're happy to have you here with us. So thank you
Mm.
for hanging out. And then we'll be back for more deep dives.
Till then, thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.